Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Business as a Magical Practice podcast. I'm so happy you're joining me today. Today, we have another very special episode. We're on episode 55, which is so exciting. If you're new around here, very special episodes come to you every 11 episodes, and they're a bit more casual and behind the scenes where I just share some of my favorite things right now, answer the questions I've gotten between the episodes. So if you want your question answered by me in the next very special episode, that'll come with episode 66, send it over on Instagram at The Dirty Alchemy as a DM, or in our private Facebook group, Business as a Magical Practice, which you should definitely join if you haven't yet. It is linked in the show notes. So let us dive in to my favorite things right now. So first, if you're listening in real time, it is the beginning of July, and I know for myself, I'm so grateful that June is over. And for a lot of other business owners I know, people who are in the alchemical business intensive for clients, they are also very happy that June is over. Basically, if you listen to Your Best Year Yet, which was our audio experience back in December, where it was 5 podcast episodes, the final week of December, where we were planning your best year yet for 2021. If you listen to the episode with Donna Woodwell on the astrology of 2021, she was kind of vague around all of the things that were going to happen in 2021. And the one thing that she emphasized more than anything was that June, or the summer, was going to be what she called cave months, where we will all want to be in a cave and not interact, and low energy and very much going within. And I felt that so hard. A lot of my clients felt that so hard and saw that in their business. It was, so basically the reasoning behind it was, for the summer being cave months, is that Jupiter is in Pisces and there are a bunch of planets in retrograde. I know after the Mercury retrograde just went direct, it went out of retrograde last week. So I think, or maybe 2 weeks ago, it was June 22nd that it went direct. And I felt such a big difference in terms of my energy levels and just being able to think straight. The way that it hit me the most was as indecision, like a lot of indecision and second guessing. And I don't know about you, but whenever I'm in indecision, it's the most uncomfortable place for me to be. But anyways, that's an aside. We're gonna mention this a little bit further in the episode, talk a little bit more about cave months and June, because someone asked a question about it. But before we get into that, just let's go into some of my favorite things. So the first one I want to mention is Genetic Matrix. It's just a website, geneticmatrix.com. I've been digging more into human design for myself, for my family, and for my clients. And a great tool is Genetic Matrix. You can create a free account and look for free and create free charts for human design. And there's also a paid version if you want to go more in depth and use more of their tools. But I've been having a lot of fun with it. They have an interactive element where you can put in a chart and open up the interactive tool and just click the different parts of the chart, and it'll tell you more details about this gate or that channel or this circuit or that type. And so you don't have to go and look a bunch of things up. It's been really fun too, because you can create like solar return charts and Saturn return charts and connection charts to see how other people interact with you. Because if you know a little bit about human design, when you overlay two people's charts and you see how the different circuits and channels change when you're in interaction with another person, it's just so interesting to actually look into the energetics behind a relationship. So that's been my favorite recent thing. One of my favorite recent things. The next one has been grocery delivery. So I'm so late to this party. I know that everyone got turned on to grocery delivery in during COVID, so in 2020. But I have been most of my my last decade. I haven't been living in places that would have stuff like grocery delivery. Um, because I've been often in more rural settings or more remote settings just because of the nature of my husband's work, creating regenerative farms. But right now we're living in Lahaina, which is the more densely populated area of Maui due to tourism, which is like hilarious because like this tiny little town that has a lot of tourism, but to call it more densely populated. Um, but I just in the last few weeks realized that we could actually do grocery delivery. And I thought it was a dumb waste of money because I enjoy going grocery shopping because I enjoy looking at labels and just the out of space, out of time element of it. And I realized that it's only $4. Like to get your groceries delivered, it's just an additional $4 on top of the grocery price. And I was like, wow, okay, my belief that grocery delivery is going to be this crazy price was just totally untrue. Um, and another part of it was around doubling down on getting support in areas that aren't in my zone of genius. So this message is for everyone who runs an established business. Creating spaciousness for rest and creativity and bringing your best self to the work that you do really matters. And we can often fill our time with things that are in our zone of distraction. So things that we're not great at, we're fine at, or we're okay at, or we're decent at, but it is either time consuming or just not in your zone of genius, but you're still doing it. So for a lot of people, that is creating graphics on Canva or doing research for X, Y, or Z. For me, it's been grocery shopping. So it's something that you enjoy doing, but it's like there's really no reason for you to be doing it if you have an established business, and a better use of time for you is other things in your business. So big question here for you along with that, because maybe grocery shopping isn't this zone of distraction thing for you. So where are you depleting yourself unnecessarily by not being vigilant on how you spend your time? So I know for me, grocery shopping can be fun, but it can also be stressful, depending on how many other people are around, and if I have to rush it, and getting the time on the schedule. It's not something that 100%. It's not like something that I'm like, oh my god, this is play. This fills me up. I'm so excited about this. It's not like spending time with my dogs or going to the beach. Like that's not what grocery shopping is. So letting go of the things, it can be in your work or it can be in your personal life, that is a distraction or not feeding into your energy or feeding into you being able to spend more time in doing money generating activities or in your zone of genius. So I'll just leave that there. Now, favorite thing number 3 is a book called Shorter. I've actually only read a few chapters of this. I'm not all the way done with it, but I'm really excited about it. It's on the front of my mind. And maybe I should. Okay, I'm getting up right now to get the book so I can read the subtitle. Okay, so Work Better, Smarter, and Less. Here's How. Shorter. It's by Alex Soojung Kim Pang, and he's also the author of Rest. So, why I'm really excited about this book, and it was turned on to me. I was listening to Amy Porterfield's podcast it was fairly recently, on how she's switching her entire company to everyone working 4 days a week. So not like 40 hours condensed into 4 days, like everyone is just taking 8 hours. All of her full-time employees are taking 8 hours out of their week and still getting the same salary. And I was just like, oh, fuck. Oh my gosh, this is just blowing my mind. And she was inspired by this book called Shorter. And I'm starting to read it, and it's giving a lot of fundamentals and case studies on how a bunch of businesses globally in a bunch of different industries are cutting down their entire company's hours for full-time employees from 5 days a week to 4 days a week, or from 8 hours a day to 6 hours a day, or 5 hours a day. And they are seeing more productivity and more profitability in their company. They're basically forcing their employees to be more efficient with their time and to only be doing activities that matter to the results they're supposed to be getting in their business. And I'm loving this because I speak a lot about this in the Alchemical Business Intensive, about how this is so, so, so important for business owners to be vigilant about their time, to be getting rid of tasks that aren't actually moving the bottom line forward. And to cut out things and distill their business to the things that actually matter for clients, for getting the best results, for actually getting more leads and getting more sales and delivering better results. I just said that in their business. And what I'm loving about this is there can be guilt as a business owner who has people working full time for them, of I'm spending less and less time in my business, but I'm still requiring people who work for me to work full time or more. And there can be a justification of some people want to work full time. Some people, like, not everyone's built for entrepreneurship, and some people want a full-time job. But there's been something like niggling in the back of my head of like, something is not quite right here. So when I found this is actually showing a lot of models and case studies of people, of these CEOs, these business owners deciding, at least, or experimenting with their entire company working less hours and how that actually ripples out into their business. So, for the same reason, this like business owner guilt of I get to spend less time working because I am the one who owns this business and I am delegating out tasks that are no longer important for me to do, but instead for other people to do. There's this guilt. So for the people that you love who are on your team and they're just amazing people who are giving to your business, you want them to have a spacious life, to have lots of time for rest and for play and for hobbies and for whatever, for growing a family. So it's been really, really fun to read, and people actually doing this. This is not just a concept. These are actually actual businesses doing this. And I meant to find a certain quote. Let's see if I can quickly find it while I'm live recording this episode that speaks directly to this. A century ago, philosopher Bertrand Russell and economist John Maynard Keynes argued that by 2000, 8 decades in their future and 2 decades in our past, we could all be working as little as 3 or 4 hours a day. In Russell and Keynes's lifetime, technology, labor union demands, rising educational standards, and greater prosperity had reduced the length of the average workday from 14 to 8 hours a day. They thought that as technology continued to advance through the 20th century, productivity could continue to rise, economies could continue to grow, and working hours could fall further. But Russell also warned that while modern methods of production have given us the possibility of ease and security for all, if productivity gains and profits were hoarded by factory owners, executives, and investors, those same advances could be used to create a world that offered overwork for some and starvation for others. That's not a bad description of work today. I mean, this is what we're talking about, you guys. This is what happens. CEOs or business owners who aren't even working in their business anymore because they have an owner independent business, have a people working really, really hard, long hours for them. And while they get to just enjoy the spoils of their that labor. And I'm someone who I love working. I love creating. I love being in my business and seeing results. So I'm not someone who would ever not want to work because there's so much purpose in it. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. People on my team feel the same way. But there's a lot of room to cut down on hours and to be more productive in the work that we do. And it's been interesting to read some of these examples that because if you are like an online program or online course creator, there's a lot of scalability in that, and there's a lot of opening. There are plenty of openings and opportunities to make money that's independent of ours. But my business and a lot of other businesses don't have also have offers that require someone's time. So like I run a digital marketing agency. Creating assets for clients and doing marketing for clients requires hours. So they're actually giving examples in here of client-based businesses like that. It actually works for them too. And speaking a lot to the boosting of creativity and productivity when there's a lot more rest and a lot more play in our lives. So anyways, I don't have, this is not like a, this is not something I've experimented with. Amy Porterfield right now, which I think gosh, how many employees did she, I think she said she had like 20 employees right now, and they're all experimenting with a 4-hour work week. And I am contemplating it. I'm reading this book and want to start playing around with this idea. And if anyone else is interested in stuff like this, read the book Shorter by Alex Sujong Kim Pang. And let's chat about it because I'm just so curious about what this could actually look like, and how spaciousness and time freedom for an entire company, not just a business owner, can change the world, because I actually think it would. Okay, so those are my favorite things of the moment. And by the way, some people have started sharing their favorite things too on Instagram and in the Facebook group. And I love seeing those. Thank you so much for sharing. It is such a fun way to discover new things and find inspiration. So if you've been loving anything right now, reach out and let me know. Just comment on my last Instagram post or send a DM at The Dirty Alchemy. And I really selfishly just want all the genius ideas from you guys. I love that back and forth flow that this podcast has created. But anyways, let us answer some questions. So, okay, so who's the coach or teacher who has most changed your life? And I don't have a single answer because different teachers came in at different times. And I feel like if those teachers came in at different times of my life, they wouldn't have impacted me at all. But it was like a perfect timing situation of what I needed in my life, and them having a specific message there. So I made a list. The first one, I'm going chronologically. The first biggest teacher was my dad's death. And that was when I was 19, and it broke me apart. And it was this situation where a guy at 55 died within 2 months of a chronic diagnosis, and unexpectedly died, who was seemingly healthy. It broke me apart emotionally and made me very comfortable with the concept of death and dying, and detach from it in some ways. And also it launched me down this conspiracy theory rabbit hole of wanting to live off grid and being disillusioned of the security of our culture and the security of having a 9-to-5 job. And it really was this launching point of disillusionment that took me down some weird paths. And I don't even know where I would be if he was still alive. I probably would have had a different path, because I would have gone a more traditional route. I was at a university studying to be a researcher in a biochemistry lab, because I wanted to research cancer. And I don't know if I would have had such a level of being broken open to the traps of society if it hadn't have happened. So that was the first big teacher, I think. Next one was transcendental meditation, which I found when I was 20. And it I was still dealing with grief from my dad's death and had chronic anxiety since I was a kid. And it was a huge teacher in connecting me with my body and connecting me with beyond and opening up to spirituality. It was really big for that. The next was Tim Ferriss. So I did, when I was 19, I did or maybe I was 20, 21. When I was 20 or 21, I did a Ashtanga yoga apprenticeship. So like a year-long apprenticeship to work for a specific teacher in Michigan. And a part of it was this book list. And one of the books in there was the 4-Hour Work Week. So I read this at 21-ish, and it was this level of disillusionment of the way that our society is set up. And I mean, we just talked about shorter, and Tim Ferriss wrote this with the 4-Hour Work Week, but again, from that, for the business owner's perspective of cutting down your hours to 4 hours a week versus an entire company culture. But that's an aside. I read it at a time when I was just graduating college, and I could have gone the traditional career route, but reading that book was like, nah, I want to work remotely. I don't want to work in at a physical place because I want to be able to travel and I want to have my own time and set my own schedule. And reading that at that time really opened up that potential. I know this is not like a coach or a teacher specifically, but these like concepts really fed into who I am now and where I am now. Okay, next one is Teal Swan. I know there's a lot of controversy around her, but I'm absolutely a person who thinks the rice strainer analogy fits with all gurus and teachers and public figures, where if you can take the beauty and what works for you from their message, you will get so much farther. And I definitely talked about this on a previous podcast episode, that if we find something that we do not like about a public figure or a coach or a teacher or a guru or whoever, if we find something we don't like or we're kind of like icked out by, and we throw away their entire body of work, like, you would have to not learn from anyone ever on the planet, because we're all humans and we all have fucked up sides of ourselves and shadows, and do shitty things in order to learn certain lessons in this lifetime. Someone is cutting down a tree next door and they just started doing that, and I hope that's not affecting what's happening on this podcast. I guess we'll see. I'm going to keep going. So Teal Swan, I feel like her teachings I found shadow work through Teal, and a lot of other spiritual lessons from Teal, just watching her YouTube channel. Later, I became a completion process certified practitioner. And that entire process really taught me the power of emotions and the power of using emotion as this anchor in order to do soul reintegration and shadow work in and of itself. So yeah, I mean, finding shadow work was such a major thing for me. I had kind of discounted a lot of spirituality because all of the law of attraction stuff didn't resonate with me. Like the Buddhism stuff was like fine, but didn't fully resonate with me. And I felt like a missing component was shadow work, and to be able to actually learn from her and learn the process and to start actually doing my own shadow work was really powerful. Next is Carolyn Elliott, another controversial figure for many people. But her existential kink process was this igniter to actually allow shadow work to be a daily pleasurable process, because if anyone's done like hardcore shadow work, it can fuck you up in your day-to-day life, because it will, like, before you get through the shadow, like that one shadow, you will just feel really shitty and low and all sorts of whatever. But with her existential kink process, bringing this pleasure element to shadow work makes it happen faster, makes it so that you can actually function in reality while also having these insane spiritual experiences and integration processes. So Carolyn Elliott's been a massive impact on my life. She's also a client, so obsessed with her. Okay, next one is Amanda Frances. I kind of thought mindset work was really dumb. I thought I was too smart for mindset work. I thought shadow work was what the cool people did, and was this cooler, more intense, more hardcore version of spirituality. And then I found, actually started applying money mindset work through a few other people, but Amanda Frances had the biggest impact. You can check her out on Instagram, I think it's XO Amanda Frances. I've mentioned her book in the past as one of my favorite things in one of these special episodes, but I like her flavor of money mindset because it's pretty much like you make your own rules. It's supposed to feel good. You can allow it to be easy. And she's just been seeing how she shows up in the world, reading her work, hearing her talk about how she thinks. You kind of just get in her orbit and her vibe. And yeah. And then finally, biggest coach teacher has been my own work. We're here on the podcast, Business as a Magical Practice. I really find so much transformation and change in doing and experiencing things. To somatically know something in my body from experiencing it has been so major. So going through a launch for the first time for my own business instead of a client's business, to be rejected, to have to do a sales call, to have to be visible on the internet and show up again and again, even when you don't feel like it. Like, all of this has been such fuel for my growth and for changing my life, and keep saying yes to that. So, okay, that was a long-winded answer for that first question. Okay, next one that came in was, what are your favorite money mantras? And yeah, this is something we like to talk about in the Business as a Magical Practice Facebook group. It's been fun seeing everyone else's, but I want to specify. I don't want to just say here are my money mantras or here are my affirmations, because I don't think stuff like that works unless it's been customized to you. So I wanted to specify that vague affirmations generally don't work, or at least they haven't for me. If you can create customized ones based on where you are and where you want to be and what's blocking you and how different thoughts and concepts make you feel in your body, then that's how you change an affirmation or a mantra into something that will actually enact change in your life. So anyways, here are a few that I really love right now, or have loved in the past. There are already 10 people in my orbit ready to work with me. I love that one because it kind of takes the pressure of the how out of things. In that same vein, I don't need to know or understand how my next client will find me. Not my job. Clients find me in miraculous ways, and I just need to keep showing up. So this is another freeing one where it's like, okay, I don't have to go and seek out clients. I don't have to go and figure out and know exactly how the next client is going to come or the next person in your program is going to come. It's just about knowing what you want and showing up and doing your part and allowing miracles to happen. And then I've already done more than enough. I use this one a lot, and I'll probably use it for the rest of my life because I have an undefined root center, barely any channels activated in it either. So the pressure of having to do more and not being enough and not doing enough is real. So if anyone else has the human design of an open root center, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I will tell myself this mantra at least once a week. I've already done more than enough. I've already done more than enough. Okay, next question. Why isn't my course or program selling right now? Oh my God, this is the June relevant question. I've been on the back end of a handful of launches in June, and seen in other clients' businesses. And just like you in June were feeling the want to be out, the desire to be outside and the desire to be away from your computer and not really wanting to engage with people or to take on more responsibility of having to participate in a program. Your clients and customers are feeling that way too, or were feeling that way in June. So probably because of the cave months. And also, another side of this is summer is usually a slower season because people are often traveling during the summer because kids are out of school and it's just a nicer weather to visit places. Also, COVID restrictions are lifting. So specific to the summer of 2021, a lot of people are just, they don't want to be on their computer anymore. They don't want to, they want to be outside with other people, with their friends. So that's really relevant right now. Yeah. Okay. That's my answer to that. Of course you just because you can like have your own algorithm, all of your work can bust through the algorithms, can bust through the themes, and you can be completely successful during this, this phase of this season of the year. It doesn't have to, you not selling stuff right now doesn't have to be this dogma. It's just something to be aware of, some external circumstances that could be impacting the reality of your business and what to do about that. Do you want to take a break? Do you want to double down? Do you want to decide that it's your program is perfect timing to launch right now? Whatever. Okay, moving on. What was one of the biggest transformations in your business that allowed you to scale from barely scraping by to having excess money and supporting a team? I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast yet, but the concept of a big one for me was the change in perspective from being a freelancer to being a business owner. So I was doing marketing for businesses at an hourly rate and doing a lot of work for like one client and maybe another one on the side. When I switched to having a business owner, so I had to create an offer and I had to take on sales calls and I had to do all the things that a business owner would do for a marketing agency. Everything changed in my business. So I just wanted to highlight that the core behind that was an identity shift from being a freelancer or from even just being a marketer to being a business owner. So I need to support my business in the beginning so that my business can support me in the future. Another part of this, which I always feel weird mentioning, but investing, in 2019, I invested thousands of dollars into a certain program in order to like a 5-figure investment sort of investment to progress my agency into, it was like a program specifically for digital marketing agencies. And I point back to that and I saw the growth in my business. And like the 3 months after I did that, whatever it was, it lit a fire under my ass, or it reinforced this this identity shift into a business owner or an agency owner from just being a freelancer. And I hate talking about this because it always makes me gag every time a coach or a teacher says that you have to hire a coach for $20,000 in order to charge coaching for $20,000, or you have to buy a $2,000 program in order to sell a $2,000 program. And I just don't think it's true. I really don't think it's true. However, from personal experience and from hearing a lot of other people say the same thing, there is something in the exchange. There's something that happens to you when you spend a lot of money on something. So if you invest a good chunk of money into your business, you are more likely to take it more seriously. You're more likely to be more invested in your business. That doesn't have to be true for you. I'm not saying that has to be true. I've just, in my own experience, investing heavily into my business has actually made my business grow faster. So that's another one. Okay, so those were the questions that were sent in. Those are some of my favorite things. Thank you so much for being with me today. I wanted to sign off with that applications have now started rolling in for the next round of the Alchemical Business Intensive. And a few people have been asking about what kinds of transformations have happened for people already in the program. And it's actually been really fascinating for me because the CEOs in the Alchemical Business Intensive this round of the program are all transforming in big ways, but all in different ways. And there is a range of the different types of businesses that join and the different places they are in their business, but it's been really fun to witness that people are getting what they need for where they are in their business. And I'll share more about that in the future. Regarding different people, we're going to have a few people on the podcast to chat about their experience, and love to, if you're feeling called to join the Alchemical Business Intensive, or you're more curious about it, we're now taking applications in for the October round. So if this all sounds amazing to you and you want to tap into your unique transformation that your business needs to hit at its next level, early applications now open. When you apply during this early enrollment period, so in July, so if you apply in July and you join in July, you'll get a bonus one-on-one call with me, a full strategy session with me to talk about your business, and you'll get clarity on the next best moves for you to take in the coming months. So in August and September for when we actually start in October. Go to thedirtyalchemy.com/mastermind to learn more and apply. And thank you for tuning in every week. Don't forget to send all of your magical marketing questions over for the next very special episode 66, when that happens, 11 episodes from now. And until then, I will see you next Thursday. Have a great week.